Hi, I'm Pattu from FreeFinCal, and in this video, let's look at the performance of mid-cap funds, many funds in the mid-cap category, and we will see that many funds since inception have struggled to beat mid-cap indices, either the NSE mid-cap 150 or the NSE mid-cap 100. So if you look at the mid-cap listing at Value Research, now I have sorted this in descending order of launch. So the youngest funds are seen first. So we'll ignore all the new funds. We'll ignore all the funds which have been launched from October 2010 and afterwards. So these are fairly new funds. We'll not worry too much about that. And we look at the older funds. So I've downloaded the performance tab of all of them. So this is the first fund, Franklin India Prima Fund. This is a 25-year-old fund, and this is the since inception performance of the fund with respect to Nifty Midcap 150. You can see that it's barely kept up with the index. There's really no alpha for the 25 years. There's practically, I should not say there's no alpha. There's no outperformance. It's underperformed, outperformed, underperformed, and so on. So let's dig into this. Let's look at the last 10 years. That's decent. The last 10 years has been decent. But if I just move it a little bit closer, that looks okay. Right, that looks okay. So that's not bad. Last 5 years, then it has struggled a bit. So the last 5 years, it has struggled a bit. Last 10 years is all right. And if I just move it back a bit, you can see that there the alpha goes away. From 2005 onwards, it's kind of struggled to beat the index. This has been a problem for all the older mid-cap funds. So essentially, they've been, if you give them enough time, then they tend to go towards the index performance. So this is the for Franklin Prima. This is Tata Midcap since inception performance. That's the one again. You can see with respect to Nifty Midcap 100, there's really nothing there. So let's scroll this way. You can see that 1998, 99, 2001 again. It's not. It's terrible. 2005. Look at that. For many funds, only. So you see, that's the alpha. That's the outperformance. I should not say alpha. I told you that. That's the excess return. Most of the outperformance has come post 2014, even for the older funds. If you look beyond that for a longer period, the outperformance vanishes. And see, most of it has come only in this period. That's actually that's dangerous, because it just means it's pretty recent, right? And now mid caps and small caps have fallen down quite corrected significantly. And if they keep correcting, or there's a sideways movement, all this outperformance will vanish. And that's the problem. So this is the long-term trend with respect to the Nifty mid-cap index. Of course, I have already written about this, and I've also made a video. We badly need a mid-cap index fund, but we will never get it, because the AMCs get most of their profit in mid-cap, small caps, and so on. So they will never get it. So this is Tata Midcap. Let's look at Taurus Discovery. Well, you know how this fund will be. This is a 4-star fund. By the way, again, one more reason to not look at this is a star rating. Look at the since inception performance. The fund is actually down there. And let's see how it is. How is this a 4-star fund? I don't know. Let's keep going. 99, 2000, 2001, still below 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, still below 2007, 2008. And there, it's caught up with the index at 2009, and still there. It's not really outperforming it. Just a little bit there, less a little bit there. 2011, 12, again, just terrible, just awful performance. How is this a 4-star fund? I do not understand. Just here, last 2 years, it has done a little bit better. There you go. We go pockets of. So, and this is a 4-star fund. Please. I mean, anybody who takes star ratings seriously, well, the joke's on them. That's all I can say. Because the people who make the star ratings are never going to be bothered by it. and this is Reliance Growth Fund. This looks good since inception, but let's have a look at that. 1997, okay, outperforming. 98, 2000, 2001, 2002, looks okay, looks okay, looks okay. And then 2005 to the gone, and then it goes away. And then look at this. After 2006, have a look at this fund after that. Still down, nothing, gone, nothing. Just struggling to beat Nifty Midcap 100. I told you yesterday in the Sundaram video that Nifty Midcap 100 is a very tough index, and very few funds have actually managed to beat it. Look at that. It's just horrible. So that's Reliance Growth. So this is Sundaram Midcap or Sundaram Select Midcap. I told you yesterday this is one of the few funds that managed to beat it consistently. This is since inception performance, and this performance has been they've managed to hold on to this performance. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. Again, you can see that uptick post 2014. Not bad again. So that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. Just here they've dropped down from 2014, 2015 it has struggled a bit. After that it has struggled a bit. That's well that's that. So once the midcap rally is kind of plateaued or or trending down, then it kind of falls down. But it's still all that said, over 10 years it has given you that kind of performance. That's good. So this fund is a decent fund. Of course, star ratings have no such correlation with this kind of performance, because they are looking at it with a different angle, and I believe this is the way you should look at it. But anyway, that's it. This is Aditya Birla Midcap Fund, long-term performance. See, most of the time the fund has struggled. Only after post 2014 you can notice that there's an uptick. So let's have a look at this. You see there, that's not bad. Look, okay. Most of the outperformance has come from 2014. That's again, it's a little scary to me, because if it is that recent, if it is just last 3 years, 4 years, then it will either not last or history will repeat. The history before 2014 will easily repeat with respect to the fund performance. So that's a problem. So it's okay, it's reasonable, I would say, but still it's a little scary that the performance is quite recent. This is UTI Midcap Fund. Again, since inception, it's there are pockets of underperformance and outperformance, but then if you look at it from inception to today, all of it is gone. So let's again scroll this down. See that it's struggled. 2006 a little bit better, 2007 a little bit better. Again, most of the uptick has been post 2014. That's a little scary. So since then it has done well. Last 5 years you can look at it. Last 5 years, whatever gain has come down, and that's a problem. 7 years is all right, but 5 years is bad. 10 years is decent, but again you can see most of it is only in that. So this is the midcap space is scary. So again, this is now a 5-star fund, but you can see that most of the performance again post 2014. So last 10 years, if you look at it, that's decent. That's not bad, but it has that's not bad at all. That's reasonably consistent, I would say. It's managing. This fund is all right. This fund is okay. This just fallen down a bit in the last couple of years, but that's okay. You have to give it that much. So again, one more run from inception. You can see that it's reasonable, but it takes a lot of patience to be in such a fund. So that's not bad. This is ICICI Midcap Fund. Not many people talk about that. It's got only 1,500 crores compared to other ICICI equity funds. This got practically no AUM, relatively speaking. And since inception, look at that. It's just pretty much in line with Nifty Midcap 150. Last 10 years, the performance is terrible. It's not been able to beat the benchmark. And even post 2014 for this fund, the outperformance is not significant enough. So that's the reason why it has got poor AUM. So that's poor. That's pretty bad, right? Since 2015, it's underperformed it pretty badly. and HDFC Mid Cap Opportunity. So this is probably one of the youngest funds. So in the present study, we are going to look at this is only from 2007. It has done well. From 2007 onwards, it has done well. But if I just push this back and push it down to 2004, remove 2014 period, there it is. That's that period. So that's again, it has struggled here, but it's okay. It has done well after the rally. I mean, after the 2008 crash and rally, it has done well. So this is a consistent performer. But the problem with this fund is already 20,000 crores in this space. I don't know how long this performance will last, but it's been a spectacular performer. There's no doubt about it. But please keep in mind that this is a young fund compared to all the older funds. This is a young fund, and older funds tend to have this problem of long-term performance tending to an index fund. This fund is still not got there. We don't know. The point I'm trying to make is, give this fund another 5 years, another 10 years. This fund may also, have a since inception performance that's pretty much in line with the index with no outperformance. So that's still possible. So this fund has had such a great run that if anything is going to happen to this fund, it's going to fall down. The performance is going to go down. So we'll have to find out. If there's a law of averages, it's going to catch up sooner or later. So this is DSP Mid Cap. Not bad. It has picked up after 2014. That's pretty decent, I would say. That's fairly reasonable. That's fairly reasonable outperformance. It's only post 2015 the fund has kind of struggled with respect to the Nifty Mid Cap 100. There it has struggled a bit. So that's the problem again. But the problem is people in this space, people in the mid cap, small cap space, they don't have patience. Most of them don't have patience. They won't sit for 5, 10 years. They won't sit for 3 years. Forget about 5 years or 10 years. They won't sit patiently for 3 years or even 3 years. So for people without patience, this kind of performance is bad. So this is 2000. That kind of performance is not acceptable, right? So that's the problem in this space. SBI Magnum Mid Cap, long-term performance. You can see that there is outperformance. Then it has sort of lost its way a bit and so on. Last 10 years, yes, it has gained after 2014, but lost most of it since January 2018. It has lost most of it. That's the problem again in this space. Kotak Emerging Equity Scheme. That's a 5-star scheme, but if you look at the since inception performance, that's pretty bad, isn't it? So let's find out where it has picked up. Kind of there. Again, most of the gains after 2014, and it has stayed there. So very, very few funds have managed to see. Again, it has fallen down since 2015 onwards. Struggled. Many funds have struggled to beat the Nifty Mid Cap 100 again. So that's a problem again in this space. And again, it's a 5-star fund. Well. What can you say? 3 years looks like that. 5 years looks a little decent. It's 5-star only because of this. Only because of this 5-year performance. Move it a little there and it is gone. So that's the problem with this space. Again, Edelweiss Mid Cap Fund. You can see that since inception, most of it is again underperformance, a little bit of outperformance. 3-star, but if you look at the 3 years is practically nothing. 5 years is reasonable. 10 years is also reasonable. So let's see. So again, 2015ish kind of period, last 3 years. So it's bad. So one more Invesco last fund, Invesco India Mid Cap Fund since inception. Again, post 2014, not bad. 3 years. That's a poor run in 3 years. This is last 3 years. Most mid cap funds have failed. Let's have a look at HDFC Mid Cap Opportunities last 3 years. Again, it is last 3 years. It's a problem. Let's look at Sundaram Mid Cap last 3 years. Again, it's a problem. So I don't look into fund portfolios to find out why this is the reason and so on, but that's pretty bad. You can't take so much expense fee. You can't give so much commissions to people who are selling the fund to investors and not be able to beat an index over 3 years. 1 year is too small, but 3 years, most mid-cap funds have struggled to beat it. That's just terrible. This Reliance growth, I mean Franklin Prime, and that's the reason why we badly need a mid-cap index fund based on Nifty mid-cap 100 or Nifty mid-cap 150. Of course, most of these funds have adopted Nifty mid-cap 100 or Nifty mid-cap 150 only after the SEBI categorization. So the SEBI categorization rules is not only affecting the large cap space, it is also affecting the mid-cap space, because it is making people like me realize that there's really not much of outperformance, and if you give it long enough time, there is really no outperformance. So 3 years, I think, should be a decent enough time for a active fund to be able to beat any mainstream capitalization based benchmark, and that's a problem in the mid-cap space. So what should investors do? Well, there's no alternative. At least for mutual fund investors, there's no mid-cap index, and there will not be because of this. If there is a mid-cap index, then I know the underperformance will shine even more clearly. And most of the money of the mutual funds comes from in this space, mid-cap, small-cap, and that space. So they will never make it. It is they have a conflict of interest in making a mid-cap index, so they won't make it. And it's better that if they don't make it, what can investors do? They have to choose among these active funds, but choose a fund that has got a consistent outperformance in the 3-year, 5-year period. And keep an eye out on performance. If the performance dips, if for a given 3-year period, if the fund has failed to beat the benchmark, and I think you should consider a shift. That you should be able to shift. The problem with investors is they are in this buy and hold mindset. They don't want to quickly change mutual funds. They are hoping that things will change for the better and so on. But in the mid cap space, or any mutual fund for that matter, you must be ready to change mutual funds. And especially in the mid cap space or small cap space, I think that's even more true. So that's the sad state of affairs in the mid cap space. I'll catch you again in another video. Bye.